ahead, Rich.
Unlike the others, I didn't quite memorize my speech. I think I told the first
Put it away.
down in
Use your outside voice.
But on behalf of all the groomsmen, the first question before I start my speech is, Paul, do you have your license?
Does he what?
You do. Have his license. He's an inside joke.
I first want to start off by thanking everybody here that made this day possible. Both Paul's family and Katie's family. Katie's family, as I'm sure many of you know, have come from across the country to be here with all of us today. So thank you to everybody who made this day possible. Not only thank you for making this day possible, but for raising two beautiful individuals, both Paul and Katie, who are here celebrating today. I also want to thank Paul and Katie for having me as their best man. It's an honor to be up here with them today and to be on the altar with Paul on probably the most special day of his life. So thank you guys. So before I undertake the customary duty of giving Paul a few uncomfortable minutes, I want to thank all the bridesmaids here today. I think all of them made us look a little better today. And they were only eclipsed by the beautiful bride, Katie. I'm sure you all agree, Katie looked absolutely beautiful. So now that I've scored a couple points with Katie, I'm okay now. Those of you that don't know me, I'm Rich. I'm Paul's younger, I'm sure better looking cousin. And as I said, it was a great honor for Paul to ask me to be his best man. When Paul asked me, I don't know how many months ago, said that Chicken Pete's over a couple beers to be his best man, I jumped at the offer and I accepted without any hesitation at all. And as some of you might or may not know, Paul served as the best man at my wedding 2 years ago. And there is absolutely nothing I wouldn't do for Paul, and there's nothing Paul wouldn't do for me. So thank you again. So earlier this week, I began to think about what I can talk about in my best man speech. I had a wide range of thoughts. I could take the comedic approach, obviously, and talk about how 2 years ago, before my wedding, Paul was sick the entire morning. And it wasn't because he was nervous about giving a best man speech or being my best man. And I already see him looking. It was because he and my really good friend Jeff spent the entire night before my wedding out drinking. So, as Paul likes to say, he made up for it by making sure he was there when it counted and he was okay. I could also talk about how Paul is never on time for anything. And by the laughs, I know that everybody in this room knows exactly what I'm talking about. If you ever call Paul and he's running late, you say, Paul, where are you at? When are you going to be there? Dude, I'm right around the corner. I'll be there in 5 minutes. And 45 minutes later, Paul's still not there. But as I continue to go down that road, I realized as much as of a comedian I am in my head, I probably shouldn't begin trying to be a comedian today for all of it. So I tried to go down another path, a more serious path, which probably isn't the norm for a best man speech. But I decided to go down the road of talking about family and love. Both Paul and I were raised in a very close-knit family. Whether there was an occasion or not, the men and women of the Zeltner party, the Zeltner family, always found a reason to have a party. Most of the events would eventually end up with Aunt Diana asleep under a Christmas tree, with my dad without a shirt, and any combination in between them. But as much fun for the adults as that was, it also allowed Paul and I the opportunity to grow up together. And growing up together, we had many conversations and interests throughout the years. Through our childhood, We spent many hours playing Nintendo, talking about wrestling, and many other childish topics. As we grew older, those conversations and interests grew to include sports. Over the past 10 years, some of the conversations we shared include more mature topics, including love, family, and marriage. Now, don't misunderstand me. Paul and I still have conversations that most teenagers probably have. And I've been told on multiple occasions that I have the mentality of a 10-year-old. But I digress. Before Paul and Katie met, many of the conversations we had about girls and marriage would often be dark and gloomy. There were many occasions in which Paul told me he believed he would never find the right girl, never find true love, and never get married. That all changed when Paul met Katie. I clearly remember my wife telling me at Lisa and Dennis's wedding, after seeing the interactions between the two of them, that Katie would be the girl Paul married. I was not convinced at the time, as Paul and Katie recently started dating. However, as the months went on, unfortunately, my wife was right. I was beginning to see Paul finally found the woman that he is not only able to put up with him, but also makes him the happiest I've seen him. Paul gushed about Katie and how much he enjoyed spending time with both her and Dominic. Months later, conversations about Katie soon led to joking with Paul about how much longer he plans on waiting before proposing. It was clear to me that he was in love with her, and he had finally found the true love that he believed he would never find. Finally, years later, in typical Paul fashion, I was out with my wife one night and received a text message that simply stated, "Dude, guess what? I'm engaged." After all those years of gloomy conversations, today Paul is finally marrying the woman of his dreams. And without getting too deep, there's something to be said for Paul. Despite waiting longer than he thought he never would have to, he never settled for anybody less than perfect. I look forward to many more years of good times with both Paul and Katie, as well as watching their love continue to grow and their family expand. In addition to essentially allowing us to grow up together, I believe our close-knit family taught him, me, along with our other cousins, the importance of love and family. Not only in good times, but more importantly, in the many difficult times we had as a family, we have seen how a family can pull through and support each other. These two virtues of both love and family, more than anything else, are the key elements to a successful marriage. I know that Paul holds these virtues close to his heart, and I know that with our family, Paul will take these key qualities forward with him into his new family. I know that these two words, love and family, will be there with Paul and Katie throughout their marriage, just as their vows said today, in good times and in bad. I know this because our family has shown us over the years, passed down to us, and it is now our responsibility to pass down to our families. So now that the serious part is over, I just want to say a couple of closing words to Paul and Katie. First, Katie, I want you to put your left hand on the table, and Paul, put your right hand on hers. Okay. Katie, I want to welcome you to a crazy, crazy family. And I also want to thank you on behalf of everybody here for making Paul the happiest that I've ever seen. Paul, I love you like a brother. Are you tearing up? Where's Dominic? I owe you $5 now. You are the brother that I never had. You absolutely found a beautiful and amazing woman. And I think everybody in this room agrees that you're out of your league. With that said, take this advice from your younger, more handsome, experienced cousin. Never go to bed angry. Stay up and argue all night. Never go to bed without saying I love you. Keep the lid down. And always remember these words. You're right, kid. Being your best man, it was my duty to allow you to have the upper hand one last time.
Aww.
So you can now take your hands off. So I want everybody to raise their glass. Paul and Katie, as you begin a new chapter of your lives, beginning your first day not only as man and wife, but as a family. May the joys you share today be the beginning of a lifetime of great happiness and fulfillment. I wish you all the luck, love, and happiness in the world, today and forever.
Yeah.